Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome. Welcome to our Siddhaveda webinar series. So we have a panel discussion. So this is going live now and in YouTube. So we're gonna have people questions for that. So first we want to introduce our panel members. So webinar series. So that's the first part, and then we can. I think the moderator has a power problem, so issue in Seattle. So so we wanted to start anyways. So we have. I'll be very short. We have three people in the panel, and I will be moderating as well. And so we have um, experts in this area. So we have Dr. Pramila from Siddhaveda, Dubai. She has been doing a lot of things on stress management for a long time. She's not only taking care of the normal stress, but she's looking at people have accessibility things. She's into accessibility, development in the United UAE. For a long time, she was successfully able to conduct huge conferences, bringing opportunity for the people of, we call it the people of determination. So those who have challenges, and so that is kind of an advanced level of stress management and things. And then we have Ms. Pallavi Joy. She runs a school with the little kids, and she handles, so her main thing was mindfulness and stressful management. That's what she's doing, stress management. Why we have to stress her things are like, why do students have to stress when they mindfully breathing, doing all the practices and enjoying their course? Why we have this stress? So she has been a faculty here. So all these are our faculty. Dr. Pramila has been faculty, and also she's leading the Siddhaveda Vaikudha in UAE. And Dr. Pallavi Joyce has been associated for long now, and she teaches our Vaika, the youth program also, and has participated in number of webinars worldwide. So, and we have Ritisha. Ritisha was one of the Siddhaveda students. She started with Vaika programs. She started to enjoy, and then she, she's now in Stanford, and she is peacefully doing, unlike other students, are managing everything, without much stress. And she's a living example who could guide. That's why we have different kind of expertise here. Who could Ritisha could guide any student. She has been guiding, and has been in the Vaika program. She's also the director for research. So she helps in helping students to put down some research papers. She can guide in going to higher education schools, etc. in the United States, right, and also worldwide. So I welcome all three of them. So let me start with the question for Dr. Pramila, and then we will add each one of them. So here is the question that was put forward by our moderator. So Ekta Gupta. So the the main concerns are, so general, there is a general stress level. So what are the most common causes of stress among students, and how can they identify the early signs of burnout? So this is a triggering question. So um, I mean, I'm going to ask you questions, and then the audience, you can also ask questions when you get an opportunity. So we give opportunity for everyone. So I'll put forward the questions that was put forward by the moderator. So let me, so what do you think is the common cause, Dr. Primla?
Greetings to everyone from Dubai. Thank you, Doctor. And it's a great pleasure to be part of this great panel. And the question, the cause, the energy part of it, I would like to. Today, we will be focusing on the psychotherapy and energy healing and visual imagery part of uh, the intervention we will be dealing. I'll be addressing that. So the cause would be the energy. From the energy anatomy, I could say when there is imbalance. Maybe it could be an exam trigger or a relationship, uh, a mood swing, or completion of task. During that, and also when a person has bodily like sickness or distress, that also causes stress, and also work pressure, uh, pressure in completion of tasks. All these triggers will definitely cause stress, and we have come to explain what are the uh, techniques and modalities which will help us to be in balance and harmony, because in day to day life we focus a lot of we our energy interacts with various energy in the environment, say your father, mother, your teachers, your colleagues, your friends. No, they all have different energy, and they communicate. When they communicate, they also send different energy codes. So, how you will maintain your balance in spite of having all interactions from around, and maintain a well-being within yourself, which you will radiate in the environment back.
Yes, wonderful. So coming to the, so you will have the opportunity to talk about the mechanism. That's another question also. We have so thank you for that. Pallaviji, what do you think? Was the main cause of stress today, and early burnouts? How we can figure out? So, what is your experience?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sean. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I would like to begin with a very fundamental question. What is it that students want? And a very common answer to this question is good education. And good education is usually based on test performance or mastery of the content of the subject, correct? However, teachers, counselors, and the therapists who witness the progress and struggles of the students know that there is more to this, right? And what is it that is more and beyond just good grades? It's the overall development of the child itself. However, no matter how much the parents and the teachers and the well-wishers want a child to be happy and healthy, we can't overlook the fact that there is this huge mental health crisis among all students, literally all students, right? And this is affecting their performance in school, their performance outside of school, and their behavior as well. So really understanding that academic success does not just go by itself, but it's the overall success that is important. You can't separate one from the other, and good mental health is key. Now, some of the challenges that students do face, and if we let's begin at home, the environment at home, the relationship with parents, the siblings, and anyone else who's there. Then with the society itself. And you go to school, the kind of relationship you have with your teacher. If you don't get along with that teacher, you don't feel welcome by that teacher, then that affects how you study and it affects your grades eventually. And then the kind of students and other friends that you have to mingle with while you're in school. What are the challenges that come your way? And of course, the rest of the school staff itself. How do you interact? How helpful are they? How is their behavior? So yes, some of the challenges that they go through. And you would be surprised that 50% of children here in the US suffer from trauma and stress, and nearly 1 in 3 adolescents suffer from anxiety. And one of the major complaints that high school seniors have is that they feel lonely and left out. And one very important challenge that eventually leads to stress among children, or especially teens, is the number of hours they spend on digital entertainment. It's found that they spend about 9 hours a day on digital entertainment. It has nothing to do with academic work. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that
Right.
face.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful points. I think we can discuss further. Ritisha, so what do you think? You have been a student, and like everybody, I see you from little, and I know how calm you were dealing with things, and now you're training people on this area of stress. So what do you think? Because you have the nearest person, your generation. You
Yeah.
know what we can only talk. You have the experience.
First, thanks to Siddhaveda for having me on to share my perspective and bring a student perspective to the table on this topic. So, I kind of take the perspective of both a student, but also someone who's been doing research in the area of chronic stress and worked with a lot of students specifically in this area. And I found among the student population, or stress in general, can be bucketed into three main categories, being internal, external, and social. So when it comes to students specifically, the internal stress can come from them generally being in a transitionary phase of their life where you're growing up really understanding who you are, what your values might be, or your values are finally being challenged by the world. And so sort of that like internal conflict or journey that students are going through at a younger age can lead to stress in the shape of forming your own identity. When it comes to external stress, a lot of that comes from academics. And as Ms. Pallavi made a really good point of saying, stress for students aren't only academics, but that definitely does play a role into it. And then the social category would be the third part of your friends and the social dynamics, or even like your dynamics between teachers and faculty on campus. So all three of those play a big role in stress for students. And when sort of one or two areas are out of line or a student is struggling with, it can be hard to manage the stress levels and making sure that like eustress, which is positive stress, doesn't eventually turn into distress, which is a more negative form of stress and can lead to chronic stress and anxiety in the future.
Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for that. So Ritisha, so the question for you is, would you share some practical strategies to balance academic responsibilities with personal life to reduce stress? What do you think?
Yeah, so this is a really good question because I feel like in the world of mental health and stress, there's a lot of different strategies that are always thrown at students, like from art therapy to, oh, go meditate. But then it comes down to what is actually going to work for you in your daily life. And that might not be something that works for me or anyone here, but it's really about finding out what you can integrate in personally. one of the biggest things that I've found has helped me is sort of reframing my mindset around school and academics, since this question is specifically asking about academic responsibilities. In high school, in college, it can feel like a lot of pressure to perform well, to do well in your classes, because if you like don't do well in an exam, like that might mean you're not going to get into XYZ program that you want to down the line, and that could lead to you not getting the job that you want, or it's very easy to start to catastrophize your situation based off of like one exam that you're stressed about or one class that's not going well. So a practical strategy that has helped me overall is kind of reframing it to understand, okay, this is just an exam to test how well I'm going or understand the subject, but that doesn't mean anything about my personal intelligence or my capabilities or who I am as a person. And sort of having that reflection and reframing is beneficial. And then the second thing I would also say is having a support system, not only off campus, but also on campus. If you feel like you're struggling in academics or just in general, finding one or two faculty members that you can develop a relationship beyond just classes. Like you can talk about your personal interests with, whether this is your like high school counselor or like a biology teacher. For me, both of those in high school were really like good support systems. So, yeah, I would say first is mental reframing, and then second is building support systems. And then the third would be like more of the mindfulness exercises, but I know we'll probably talk about that later.
Okay. Okay. So, what about Pallavi? Can you talk a little bit about practical strategy to balance academic responsibility with personal life?
Yes. So really, when a person is stressed, what is the frame of mind? And what is bringing on that stress and driving it? It's the thoughts that they have. And what are these thoughts? They're not really true. It's based off of something that they have heard. It's something that occurred in the past, or it's worrying about something that's going to happen in the future. So, one of the most important strategies I would say is to pause when you find that you're getting yourself worked up into a state. Pause, take a deep breath. Really, it's like, you've seen the stop signs when your parents drive you at the end of the road. So just visualize that huge stop sign being held right in your face and pause that thinking. Take a deep breath, feel the earth under your feet, ground yourself, and tell yourself, this has not happened yet. Let me not get worked up. Let's see what I can do now so that I don't end up in the same state as before. So just really grounding yourself with a pause. I would begin from there.
Okay. Okay, Pramila.
We perceive stress as energy, and I'm a special education consultant in UAE for the past 37 years. So I deal most with parents, families. So the families, it involves siblings, support groups, mother support group, parent support group, and having a child with disability itself has a lot of stress in family. It runs around. So first of all, how to navigate that? We teach them strategies, and mostly we focus on the psychotherapy aspects of that. So we understand what are the different challenges which triggers stress. When stress, it's contagious. When it starts with one and it swirls around in the family, and which in turn it affects the person who has disability. So our main concern and an intervention, family intervention, focus on reducing the stress in the families and bringing the day-to-day, the routine-based intervention in normal setup in a and to also to generalize what is happening at the home front, to generalize in the social environment as well. So we ask a set of questions, and we ensure the conversation brings a positive outcome, and uh, it helps students uncover stress triggers and equips them with coping strategies. Like coping strategies, I could say cognitive. We use cognitive behavior therapy techniques students use, and we teach the students to identify and change negative thought patterns, and transform that into positive outcomes, as well as mindfulness based therapy. This encourages staying present and reducing the stress levels.
That's
The
right.
other
That's the
solution based.
next. That'll be the next question
Oh,
for the mindfulness. Yes. So you're coming to that point. So mindfulness is the next part. So that's the question for you. Before I ask you that question, so we'll have Mukund Prabhakar. What do you think is an answer? Mukund, what do you think stress is?
Um, I think stress is when there is just a little too much pressure.
Who is doing that pressure? Who you think like usually pressurize you?
Um,
Whom can you like point out? Is that one thing that's pressurizing you? Who is usually pressurizing?
Nobody's pressurizing me. Like too sometimes too much work pressurizes me.
Too much what work?
Pressurizes me.
Oh, okay. So you don't enjoy? Do you enjoy stress or no?
Not really.
So if there was no stress, see where that's the main point. Like Ritisha was asking, was saying there's a positive and a negative stress, right? So you can turn that stress. If you don't have stress, there's no deadlines. You don't wake up, right? Say we need to wake you up in the morning, and you don't have any stress. Would you
Yeah.
be happy just sleeping? You'll be happy? How many days?
Um, Sometimes because I just woke up.
mhm.
Sometimes you can be happy when you're lazy. You'll be happy because you are every day waking up, right?
Yeah.
So when we call about stress, I think that's the main point. We have to think about a pressure, a life. Without anything, it's going to be like we don't have a deadline. Say death was not there, example, right? Death was not there. There's no pressure. Life would have been like we would have not enjoyed life because there was a death. Death is a deadline. So we have to do certain things before certain time. So
Yeah.
all these things are built up into day, and then we have. But there is an unwanted stress. That's the thing. So we are doing this, but we should enjoy in doing that, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point, right? So Mugund, so what grade are you?
I'm in seventh grade.
So, but still you understand stress. That's good. Good to know. Okay, so we'll see what kind of mindful practice you can do to come out of this stress. Okay, so doctor, stay tuned. I'll ask you, bother you again and again. Okay, Mugund,
Okay.
because
Okay.
you seem to be very inquisitive, right?
Mm,
Curious guy.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Give me five. Give me five.
What do you mean?
High five. High
High
five.
five.
Hi. Oh, okay. High five.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So good. So Dr. Pramila, what do you think about some mindfulness practice? How do you think incorporate mindful practice for this age group? Are we going to do it passively, actively? What is the thing?
Mindful practice for children, basically, we have to have play therapy. There are various techniques which will promote, he says, there is pressure. So, how we can, his daily routine could be, with a discussion with him personally, and we can say what are the ways where the trigger power, where the where he gets the stress. And there are various techniques.
No,
No,
who needs to do this? That's the big question.
the
Like
person
who
himself,
needs?
he has to do, and also the
No, but
environment.
who is going to? I mean, who's going to incorporate that? Who's going to train him? Is he open to that? That's the question, right? Is he
Yeah,
open? Will they have
that's
the
what.
time?
That's what.
Is learning stress also stressful? That's the question. Is
Yes.
learning stress is also stressful for them?
Yeah, Ines, and that's the way we communicate, build a rapport with him, understand him, and find out his interest, his needs, and maybe he is interested in music or he is interested in art, and that way we engage him based on his liking, and slowly we integrate the therapeutic intervention in the playway environment. We call it as inclusive
Right.
play. So the strategies, whatever the interventions, would be integrated in his environment wherever he goes, either play or school or skill based. Uh, the therapies, we have a set of modules which definitely we can talk to. It is customized and
Right.
personalized. It differs from person to person.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the challenges that we have here is that engaging the students. Engaging students is like we have, um, you know, Pallavi, you can end this, I think. So engaging students, see, Pramila ji was talking about, getting the students, but engaging students is a challenge because see here we have the students are occupied with all different, the academic work. So their academic work takes a lot of time because each one of the the faculty or whoever is teaching, the teachers, they want excellence in their own subjects. They want the student to be maximized in whatever they want to give. So everybody is doing that. So we have limited energy, right? When it comes to energy, that's the next thing we will give. But this body has a limited energy, right? This body and mind, we have human energies. So whenever we have less energy, you cannot put them into, if you even train them into music and other things, they feel very stressful, these kids. The more we put them into many things, they're really stressed out. That's what is practically happening here, right? So they don't want to do that, even though these are good things, but they feel even stressful, even when you schedule something. They have gone into they don't like structures. That's the whole thing. We have been like animals, traveled everywhere. That's, young kids should be doing that. But you have like timelines. Oh, this is deadline, this next period, next period. So we are putting them into, a lot of these constraints, right? Too much. So what do you think, Pallaviji, how we can handle this?
So, as I said earlier, academic success is not the end of everything. For one to be successful in life, that overall growth has to be there. It has to be an overall development that has to be there. So, and that is very, very important for the parents and for the faculty as well to understand and actually do something about it. So everybody has to be on the same page or bandwidth. We can't just tell the children to live a particular life while something else is being followed by either the parents at home or the teachers and the staff in school. That's very confusing for them. But you create an environment where everybody follows that same style of life. It's a way of mindfulness is really a way of life. So you just follow that throughout, and that way they are inculcating these habits as little children. It's not something they deal with once they're in their late 20s or 40s or 50s, but by then they're so grounded that no challenge can really have them go through any sort of trauma. In the midst of their challenges, they will be able to still, with clarity, handle their situation. So really bringing it to the community. That's one way of doing it. And then I guess the other way really is teaching children from a young age how to breathe right. You know, what exactly is happening when they are stressed and how do they reverse it? So for all students out there, you could just hold up your hand, close the thumb and the four fingers over it. Okay. Now this is your brain. This is the brain stem. And here is something called amygdala. That is what gets activated when you come across some kind of threat. So when you feel that stress, this is taking over your body, okay? And this part here is your prefrontal cortex, and that is the key to be able to think clearly, to relax, to reason, to analyze, all of that. So we really want this prefrontal cortex to be in charge all the time, and this amygdala here to come up and act only when required. Okay, but what happens in most cases is we are constantly in a frame of stress. And that reverses the role. So the amygdala becomes the one in charge all the time, and this prefrontal cortex stays very quiet. All right, so let's see what happens in the body when we go through stress. Let's say there's some kind of danger that we are coming face to face with. So this amygdala releases hormones, and those hormones flood our body. And some very important changes that take place is our breathing becomes short when we are stressed or anxious, okay? Heart rate goes up. And then we pull our belly muscles inside. We sort of tighten them. And so what happens? Once the threat has passed, there's a message that goes to the amygdala saying the threat has passed. Okay? Now, when we were under stress, this prefrontal cortex over here, that shut down because that's not the time to relax. You need to be able to take action. But once the threat has passed, this takes charge. This stops flooding the body with hormones, which means our breath becomes deeper and longer. The heart rate reduces and becomes more normal. And the belly muscles actually begin to push out and in as you breathe in and out. Okay? That's the way the stress and not being in a state of stress works. Now, if you're stressed, and this stress just continues from day to day to week to months, then you're leading into being in a state of chronic stress. Okay, and with that, automatically your breath is always short, even though, because that's become a habit with your body. So that's the key. What kind of breathing is your habit now? So work with your breath. Make sure that you're breathing in long and breathing out longer. So see if you can breathe to a count of 6 or 8, and if you can exhale out to a count of 6 or 8, and make that your regular way of breathing. So that's one of the most important ways of countering stress. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful points to, it's a take-home points for not only the kids, the parents, they're stressed out and they cannot, expect the kids to be peaceful. So, on the same lines, I think, you're talking about like the wholesome education. That's the missing point. That's a very key point, we're talking about. You're not just giving, the linear education model. That's the causing problem. So, Ritisha, you have seen that, you have done some research on stress, anxiety for students. Can you tell me what was that research about and how is that helpful? Your research helpful? Answer, please.
So my research was focusing on mainly two parts. First was quantifying stress levels within students in different demographics, different countries, different races, And then the second part was looking at intervention methods, specifically mindfulness exercises, and understanding better how they could work to reduce a student's stress and also looking at reducing a student's test anxiety. So two of the big findings was A, stress is very common throughout students, regardless of their country, regardless of the gender. There are definitely interesting findings within that about levels and rates, which if anyone is interested in, we can talk more about too. And then the second interesting finding was we tested different methods looking at art therapy, pranayama, body scanning relaxation as mindfulness exercises to reduce stress and measured these through surveys and also tracking brainwave data. And what we found was that all three of these methods were beneficial in reducing stress, with the most being body scanning relaxation, but there was a benefit across the board. So what that goes to show is it's not necessarily about exactly which mindfulness technique you're practicing, but it's about at least starting with something that you find works best for you. And then over time, building up your tool belt of different mindfulness exercises or techniques or practices that you can rely on in different situations because I've personally found like one night body scanning relaxation like puts me to sleep immediately, but then another night like I can't even get started on doing it because I'm so stressed about everything that happened during the day. And that's when I sit up and I'm like, okay, like what else can I do to get my brain in a more calm state so that I have restful sleep so I'm prepared and not stressed again the next day? And that might look like journaling or calling a family member and talking about what's going on. So there's these like mindfulness exercises that can help ground us, and I think they're better supported too when we have more in our tool belt to like address those internal, external, and social stressors that I was discussing earlier too.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, the same lines, do you think the students may be benefiting from therapy or counseling for stress management? What do you think about it?
I think it's on an individual basis for that question specifically, and um, I'm also speaking from a perspective of someone who isn't a licensed clinician, so I do want to put that out there before saying my answer. But I personally believe that it can never hurt to seek outside resources and outside support when it comes to mental health challenges or mental well-being in general. And there's a lot of different forms of therapy, as Dr. Pramila was saying, and a lot of different forms of coaching or well-being coaching as well. So figuring out what type works best for you. Um, a practice that I've personally done to see
Right.
if I'm like at a point where I could benefit from an outside resource is to document all my stressors throughout the week, anything that's stressing me out, and then how I'm handling them. And if at the end of the week I feel like okay, there's a lot on my plate and I don't have all the tools in my tool belt to answer them right now, that's when I am like, okay, what else can I do or what other supports can I have? But in general, I think that it never hurts to talk to like your primary care physician and then seek further support from there.
What do you think? Like I mean, if you call it therapy, it's like, you think it's a medical intervention. But let's say give one suggestion, like somebody comes to you, right? And for relieving stress, like you're mentoring them, say, right? So what would be one useful thing that you can give them, right? For example, right? What can they do? One useful thing immediately.
Yeah. I would start by first, depending on the person and what kind of situation that they're in, if they're at a place where they're able to talk about their stress, I would explain like the science behind of where stress is coming from. Because I think that initial realization of, oh, this is like a psychological, physiological reaction that my body is having to a perceived threat coming towards me, starts to at least make me personally feel like, okay, this is normal and this is something that a lot of individuals go through, and thus there's a way to overcome it because it's it's doable and people have done it before and there's resources out there. I think that's what understanding the science behind that does. And then secondly, I would stay, if they were in like a state of extreme stress, try to walk them through a mindfulness exercise in that moment. Whether that's like box breathing, like counting for 4, holding, exhaling for 6, just something to get them to a level of calmness or just to where they like start to return back into their body. And then from there, kind of recommending sort of outside resources where they can work with like a therapist to really implement those mindfulness techniques into their life.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Mm.
So back to Pallavi, it's Pallavi Joyce. So, can you give one suggestion? Let's, for everyone to practice. Can give one suggestion or one,
Yes.
tool.
So I agree with what was said completely. Teaching them the science behind stress is key, and also the science behind the breath itself. So just knowing that your in breath, when you breathe in, it works with the sympathetic nervous system or that amygdala that I was talking about earlier. And when you breathe out, it works with the prefrontal cortex, right? So that is why make your breath deep and long. Okay, and if it's possible, make your out breath longer than the in breath. And this is not something you try and do after you've worked up yourself into a state, but this is something you give time to, maybe a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, so that it becomes a practice and a habit. And you will know how to apply it when you find yourself in a state of stress. So yeah, that would be my go-to
Yes.
suggestion.
Dr. Pramila?
For the early years, because we were addressing the child, so for him in schools we provide happy hands, so holding fingers, no, it's very fast. So when the person is worried, they hold. It's a part of Jinshin Jitsu technique. And when fast is fear, anxiety or anger, and when they are trying to do something pretense, so we call as worry, F for fear, anxiety, stress, and pretense. So for these, whenever the situation comes, they can hold this. This is holding instantly. And also stress is a holistic management. It is not, and it is, as Ritisha said, it's individualized, personalized. It is based on the transdisciplinary assessment we do, and also how, based on the transdisciplinary assessment, considering the various more domains, accordingly we understand the energy as well as the nature and the environment, and we provide the transdisciplinary intervention. I suggest the visual imagery would be very useful, not only for the early age, and it could be a lifespan approach where you visualize a whiteboard or smart board and project day-to-day stress. Like in the night time, throughout the day, what has triggered stress, what worries, before sleeping, whatever it disturbs the person, you can project that on the whiteboard, and bringing out everything, whatever disturbance or whichever challenges they face, it could be projected. And then we use a technique, energy technique, and receive the energy, life energy, and then erase it. As and when you are erasing, you feel your hands will feel initially when you erase, because you are erasing the negativity. So all that, whatever unwanted, more than negativity, all the unwanted things in your life, you are erasing. and then you feel better. It is not during this panel discussion, it could not be said, but I'm just giving the overall picture of it. So when you erase and then you feel better, you can breathe, inhale, exhale when you no, because it involves the breath of life as well. Everything around us swirls with the breath of life, and then after that you can project what you want. You want to excel in your career, or you want certain goals to manifest and achieve in life, because all of us definitely, we need to have a structured practice so that we are not stressed. So the routine in life with our nature, now whatever we feel based on our liking, if you do, and whatever life goals we have, we project, and then again you stabilize that entire area with a divine intervention, divine energy, and you feel it is a practice of 15 minutes, and you feel really good and relieved, and move forward in life. And also there are mudras, very simple mudras, like prana mudra, and no, just by keeping the mudras you can enhance your life, and you can take more of pranic energy when there is more of energy in your system, and it is balanced, then that there is no fear of stress.
Hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. So, I mean, overall, I think we have covered very good points here. So you know, one of the main factor of stress is the corporate. I believe the corporate world is driving us. So we wanted to see, the main thing is built on like what we want, needs of life, right? So families, parents have a desire. The desire is built by corporate world, and so they wanted to catch up with the corporate, you know. And so what is happening overall, the parents want their kids to be either, this, because whatever they couldn't achieve, they wanted to achieve through their kids, right? And that is what the whole thing about is. If you look at the key root cause, right, is the corporate greed. I mean, we want the kids to do something, definitely, but how much and what? This is where the whole thing comes. So now we are, we are part of the whole thing. So we have a difficult situation here. But beyond this, if you're bringing a conscious education, um, at the education system, it takes quite a bit of time. So we have in Siddha Veda, we have some fundamental things that we teach. Is one of the programs we have is the Youth Accelerator program. So we put the students to some research work that is not very stressful, right? So that's not stressful at all. I think, Ritisha, what do you think? Is it a stressful thing? Like when we are doing youth career, you enjoyed, right? So that is kind of the education that is needed, because we have, I learned my education enjoying. I used to write poems in physics. I took physics, but I didn't see physics as a different subject. I connected with the consciousness and looked at. I used to write poems in the class, and teacher used to read my poems. I used to. It'll be a physics class. I'll be writing a Tamil poem, about physics, right? Because I enjoyed each and every particle as that ultimate consciousness. So I never had stress in my life at all. And often the only pressure my wife would say, "Why are you not stressful?" So she need to press, pressurize me to do things, right? And that's where Ritisha is talking about the positive aspect of it. If you don't have stress, you will not do anything. So that's another thing. So here, I mean, we have to naturally align, the education system should naturally align the purpose of life The purpose of life is not known. The whole education system is a waste of time. What are we going to do? If you don't have an ultimate purpose of life, this education system, you're just talking about, dealing with stress. It will ever be there for, So that need to change, and we are trying to bring those components. So it is taking its own course. But we have another interesting person who can we can invite him in a bit. But before that, we have one more quick thing. So this is about the how can the like the cultural and social factors. There is like a social comparison thing like peer pressure. I have I have to see, I used to go to the colleges here. I have understood in India itself, there are like people used to start drinking, alcohol and all these things when I was in my doing my masters, PhD program. But when I came here, that was a normal culture. Everybody used to have a beer bottle, So I used to take a beer bottle with me, and I have never drunk beer, but I will take the bottle and I'll stay with them, right? So I never had peer pressure. It never, because the education that I had was clean, that I know what is the effect of all this. But I know that this is missing. I don't think so. My kids can ever do that, or I don't know how this is going to be. I cannot say anything about that, right? Maybe they learn something, but this is a challenge, So there's a peer pressure, like this is how we have to dress up. For girls means you have to dress up like this, or you have to eat junk food because it's a peer pressure. Everybody is like, you're in the crowd, you wanted to fit into that, you know. So that is happening here. So how do you take this? How do you handle this? So, Pallavi, what do you think?
Thank you, Dr. Shan. I'd really like that question a lot. I would, so I'm just going to go back and connect with the breathing. Okay, so everybody else who are here can get some idea of what mindfulness is, and when you begin to practice, how really simple it is. So when we start breathing in and out deeply and slowly, what happens in our brain is that it begins to quiet down. It's able to focus, it's calmer. Now, when it is calmer, one of the first things that happens is we can see things differently, right? We can get a broader idea of that because our mind is calm. We are willing to look at other answers, at other scenarios, okay? And when we are able to do that, we begin to reframe. Instead of saying, oh, this teacher is just horrible, we might get a better idea of why something she said was actually said. Okay, so we reframe that. So how does that help us? We stop reacting to every situation. We learn to respond. Okay, and that is what we want in life. We want to be able to respond to situations, whether it's as students or as adults. And when we practice responding to situations, we become very, very comfortable with our own identity of who we are. We're not carried away or influenced by everything that's happening around us. We're not trying to constantly fit in. You've seen a pendulum, right? Or that yo-yo. So it's not extreme reactions. During excitement, I react like this. During times of stress, I react like this. To be happy, I behave in this extreme manner because I want to fit in. No, we don't do things like that. You're more content and comfortable in your own skin. And that brings a whole new game for you to really enjoy your life as you go forward. So just imagine that, you have the power, you have the choice to decide how you want to react, whether it's externally to somebody else or react internally to whatever challenges that you're going through. But you have that power. It's not another person from the outside world. It's not your mind, which is going through struggles, that's going to control it. But you get to decide how you want to respond, and you have the choice to do that. And when you practice this over and over and over again, imagine that potential, that the possibility in each ripple of your mindful action, how much you can spread it to people around you. And we have an example right here, right? Sitting on the panel and being part of this discussion. So yeah, the possibility, it's just endless.
So Ritisha, and then we can go to Dr. Shokalingam. He wants to add. So here. So Ritisha, you go ahead, please.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Shokalingam. Yes. After Ritisha,
Please,
can.
I will wait. I want to listen them.
Oh, okay.
It's really
Thank
very
you.
interesting.
Yes.
I will
Yes.
listen. Thank you.
Taking a more student perspective on this, I think that there's a lot of pressure from both ends of the spectrum, right? From your peers to behave a certain way or to fit in, to conform, but then also from like external society to like not conform or be the perfect student or like do XYZ and follow all the rules and this and that. And I think I take a more middle approach in the sense of it's important to stay true to what your values are and what you believe in. And at the same time, that means like if there's something that, you peer pressure, you wear something you don't like or something like that, it's like it's okay. It's about reflecting and figuring out what's right for you. I think more stress is built up on when we put even more pressure on ourselves to conform to something that isn't our own voice and isn't our own values. And from my perspective, I've found myself happiest when I'm doing what I believe in is correct and what I've learned from my experiences and those that I respect around me. Um, and so it's not necessarily a view of like, don't do XYZ because that means you'll automatically like not be successful or be more, or you'll end up being more stressed, but it's more of like what works for me as an individual. And like just having grace with yourself as you grow up to make right and decisions that might like be wrong too.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. So this is the kind of detached attachment you're talking about. The Madhyama. Madhyama is like a Buddhist principle. So it's in the middle. It's not either way, that way, this way. If you say, you want to be perfect, you can do this side, and then you'll have this stress because of that. And then, if you're going too much on the other side, you're gone, right? So I think that's the middle way. That's the balance that students need to know. But when they are in control, I think even everything doesn't matter. Nothing matters, right? So, I think at certain point, if you have the control of your own mind, then really the whole thing, whatever changes happen outside, will not matter a lot. I think that's a key point. But yeah, we have Chokalingam, who is an expert who talks about. He's our guest. He just messaged me. I'm coming today. It's a very interesting topic. So so he manages stress. For people. He talks about a lot of heart. He's a cardiologist, leading cardiologist, and more people know him in India and in Tamil Nadu. So he's here with us. So, sir, what do you think, Doctor, about you give a little bit of advice for the kids, but also of course for the parents. Yes.
I am really delighted. I wish everyone for this excellent talk. I appreciate Dan and Pramila for this giving the platform. Just 2 minutes of I want all your attention towards me. The very interesting topic is the stress, how students should manage. Is my actually my keen interest of joining is even though I'm a cardiologist, I always think about the mind. And you made me to understand more and more, Doctor and Pramila, everyone, I am thankful to you. To be very brief, now I am practicing 56 years in cardiology. I am now 8-year-old person. Still today, I have not taken any medicine at all. I want to tell you the secret to the younger generation. That's what our brother is more concerned about the society. I want to define stress. What is it? Stress is the reaction of mind and body to the environment. As long as we're existing, our body will be responding to that. But everyone should be under stress, but keep it the stress as a positive. What I mean is, when you are going to do something and you are going to extract happiness from that, it is known as positive stress. The moment if you are going to show disinterest, and then it produces negative stress, and it produces all cascade of effects. And if I say something not to frighten you, to make you aware how one can be healthy and make the society healthy. The positive stress will produce endorphin. Negative stress produces adrenaline, cortisol. For example, whenever I go to a meeting, I always ask them, is there in heaven or hell? Is it true? Scientifically, it's not true. Suppose everyone likes my talk today, now in this platform, you are all in heaven. The moment if you don't like my talk in this platform, that particular person is in hell. So the mindset to the situation, whether you want to secrete endorphin because you are going to be happy with what you are doing, then you live longer, 100 years. That's what he has been stressing, my brother. Very important things. And I think now is about 12%. I feel that at least 12 million people must listen this talk. It will spread like that because your recording will go in that. That's the reason I'm taking. The moment if you enjoy what you are doing at any moment of your life, whether rich or poor, or you are going to have any enormous money, doesn't matter. Once you enjoy and produce endorphin within you, all system will work for 100 years. That's what Chokling is following for many years. The reason why I'm stressing this point is, as my brother Shan has put it very clearly, we cannot go away from the stress. The existence is stress. Reaction is the one. Make by your mindset as a positive, then endorphins secreting. Why I'm saying that for our younger generation students, please message this what you got from all our panelists, communicate to everyone. See here, the positive or negative is a feeling. Keep your mind as your servant, it will obey you and will guiding you. If you are going to make this mind as your master, it may even kill you. That's what the reason is, master mind. So you must be the controller of your mind and it will obey everything. That's what. I used to say many occasions, mind as such, brain is matter, heart is a matter, human being is a matter. But mind has got no matter at all. It's only a mere feeling what is going to be. Just imagine, mind is the software, brain is the hardware. So, the software of your mind can operate only in the brain. But please understand, the mind is formulated only in the hardware of a brain. Being formulated, you'll be surprised, the mind is heart, brain, where it is being formulated, it is also controlled by your unseen, untouched mind only. So mind is the most powerful, and the expression of mind is a stress. Why I'm giving up all our younger generation students that are taking part, and I would like to talk to Pramila also in the end. What I want to say, Stan, the moment you are happy and if you are going to enjoy your studies, enjoy your job, what I am doing now on the platform, if you are going to enjoy, it is producing endorphin. And if you are going to extract happiness from what you are doing, it is equivalent to you are not doing. Why I'm saying the greatest, suppose I asked many questions, I will ask the same one to my brother. You know, heart works 1 lakh beat per day. Then imagine about 100 years how much heart it has to work pump continuously. What does it need heart to work continuously? Can you tell me one point heart needs for it to work continuously? What is the thing? Suppose if now heart speaks to you, now it's talking to you, what it will ask you? Premila, you can also answer. You also answer. Your students, what will heart will ask you? The moment if it talks to you, what will ask you? Tell me. Guess anything. Guess. Yes.
My heart will ask what you like, what you love, what you would like to do.
Good.
And
Nice to see you, Pramila. You are becoming more and more younger, both of you, because you are in the same platform of happiness. So, most important, what she has told, that heart needs only happiness. The moment you are happy, endorphin secreted, all organs will work for 100 years. You understand this important tip? Not the happy hormones will come and then make you happy. The happiness will secrete endorphin, melatonin, whatever thing hormones, even dopamine. That endorphin, once you are secreted, your heart is fine. When you are going to be under stress, I will ask you one more question. Now, please remember, anyone who is going to study in the earth globally, the purpose of study is only earning money, making us livelihood. Nobody will say, I studied only not for earning at all, he is bluffing. I got about 20 degrees today. I finished all my degrees at my age of 28. Having gathered all my knowledge in the heart, mind, whatever thing from my brother and sister, you have been feeding me enormously. You won't be knowing that. So the purpose of study is implement yourself internally. And what you learn, please educate the society where you are belonging, make them more resourceful. That's the main important. I want to be very brief in telling only one point is, my dear students, if they are all younger generation, I know that this platform, everyone must be younger than me. Nobody will be more than 80. I don't know anyone. I cannot guess. What I want to say is, please remember, everyone thinks success gives you happiness. It is not correct. Happiness is the greatest success. The moment you are happy, the moment you are going to extract happiness from what you are doing, you can even work for 20 hours. No diseases. This mindset, please remember my younger generation, 3 killer diseases, heart attack, cancer, stroke, all three, including suicide, all these things can be 100% preventable, the provided we are going to have a mindset positive. So please remember, the very important thing is there is no drug, no meditation equivalent to happiness. The endorphin, I want to stress, I know you must be knowing that. Endorphin is nothing but a morphine secreted within you. Suppose you are going to have the injections of morphine, it will kill you. The same morphine by means of happiness, if allowed to secrete within you, it will make you alive more than 100 years. See that how nature, God are given to you to be, how you can have energy within you. That's what he has been telling. I will ask you one more question. Premila, Madam, Sani also you can answer.
Yeah.
How many hearts God has given us? Tell me now. How many hearts everyone is possessing? Tell me.
you are the expert. You have to tell us.
Okay.
Two
I
hearts.
addressed
Two hearts
recently in
maybe.
Washington 22,000 cardiologists. The same question I asked, everyone was telling one heart. I appreciate. Please remember, there are three hearts are there. One is what you are telling is the central heart. Another two hearts are the calf muscles. They are known as peripheral heart. Unless they keep the peripheral hearts active, the blood in the legs cannot be pumped up. Then only the heart will be working. So human being is meant to be dynamic. Sitting, standing, walking, cycling, swimming, anything we are going to be active, the calf muscles will be very potently effective. So why I want to stress all the time, I want to stress here, those who are going to join IT, those who are working constantly 10 hours without moving, getting up, sitting and working for 10 hours is equivalent to cigarette smoking 30 cigarettes. So when you are working, every an hour get up for 15 seconds, stretch out, then start working. That is also very important. So all the time dynamic, sleep is very important. Minimum 7 hours you must sleep. Children must sleep minimum 8 hours. Unless you sleep, we cannot regenerate the organs. Don't compromise sleep at all the time. Very important. Then I used to say, now see here, this, what do you guess, Pramila? This is the, can you guess?
I can't see.
Now, able to
Pen.
see that, Pramila? Yes, Sam, able to see that?
Is it a pen
Yeah,
or
yeah,
pen?
you're holding
Very
pen.
good. You are correct. It's a pointer. So why am you choosing this? The one pointer, pen, laser point, everything. I am telling, see here, this end, say for example, because I cannot hold it. So this end you consider where you are born, the womb. This end is you are going to end your life in your tomb. The line between the two is your life. The life only in your hand, the life only by your mindset. I used to say for existence, I used to call three E's, Pramila. I will tell you also follow in telling me loudly. The three E's are emotion, tell me,
Emotion,
eating,
eating,
exercise.
exercise.
The three E's, I made it as three mantras. I want Pramila and everyone to tell me and follow in telling me, be positive in thinking. Please tell me,
Be positive in thinking.
be healthy in eating,
Be healthy in eating.
be adequate in exercising.
Be adequate in exercising.
The three mantras of next generation are going to hold it. Please hear, the line between the two can be extended. See, able to see that?
Yes, yes.
If you don't, it will be reduced. Why I'm saying, I'm not frightening. Please, children, listen. Nowadays, globally, between the age of 20 and 25 or 30, both sexes, they die of heart attack. The reason is they are not able to manage the mindset what they are meant to be. So any moment of your life, never lose your happiness. And have a good sleep. Exercise must. Food is very must.
Right.
But we request all the students, please finish your dinner 3 hours before going to bed. Once you do strictly follow the three mantras, Tokkling will become jobless. That is what I am searching for. So, shall I take 1 more minute, Pramila and Shan?
Yes,
Okay.
finish. In one more
Okay.
minute, we have to wrap up because we'll
I
have
know.
allow one
The
question.
last one, because
Uh,
I want this
yes,
effective crowd to communicate. Now you have to see the chart in your friend Shan. That I put this chart for the happiness.
yes.
There is zero happiness. There is a 10 happiness. When I ask the students, generally they say 3 or 4. What they say is the happiness what they get from externally. Let it be anything. I request everyone go internally, be happy for your existence, and the moment you are happy and be a ton, and you ought to live for more than 100 years. So mere one, inner happiness never compromise less than 10. Outer one, you are going to face it, and face it with
Lost him. Okay. So I think, something happened. Anyways, so we wanted to, any questions till then? Anybody has question for the panelist? Last question from the audience, please. Any comments, question? What do you think about this session? Did you like this? Was it useful?
Yeah, this is Shamila, sir. This question is to Pamela. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
So I know Pamela ji, like you mentioned about psychotherapy and other therapies which you all do, like for the kids, right?
Yes.
Y'all do this online also?
Yes, we do online.
So okay, that's good to know. Because when you talked about like the projection and talking to the kids, right? Like didn't know like it was online or it need to be in person.
It could, we do have individualized intervention, as well as we do have online webinars. So you can connect with Siddhaveda, and Dr. Shan would schedule timing, and mostly it is personalized, individual based intervention. So first to understand, and you can also take down my details from Dr. Shan, and we can schedule a session.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Well, any other comments from the? Did you like this, Kalaji, Kanu, Thiruvajan? Yes. Mukund. Any comments? Did you like this? Was it useful? Sarah?
Hello, Dr.
Okay.
Shan
Kanu, yes.
and the panel.
Yes.
This is Kala. I just want to say a few words. It was a very beneficial session. I believe since we were talking about student stress, right? If parents can maintain like calmness and harmony in the house, that will play a big role in reducing stress on the kids and will give room for kids to speak up whatever stress that they face in school and from the other outside environment. That's all my thoughts. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's a challenging thing. And then, even on top of it, we don't know how the gene is in the kid's gene. And, so I think, but it's very important point, so you have given the parents need to handle this at very young age, I think. When before the kids are born, the parents need to be trained in. That's the whole thing. We're talking about the future generation. But, today we have our own, this generation of parents who be in the further they have the problem. They have the problem. I think it is a collective effort, and we need to have a conscious education. That's what we are promoting. And you can take all of this faculty right now. They are also teaching in our YAICA program, and they will, in the YAICA program, they do a lot of, this stress, and also they take a conscious education. A conscious education will not give stress. That's the whole thing. If you have a purposeful education and you're aligned to that, and if you know what you're going to do, I don't think so there will be stress. And that's what the missing component is. And I have my own experience of I never had education. I never took experience because I was set my goal was set. I know what to do with this education. That's what I did. So my recommendation is like train the students on some conscious aspect of why they're taking that course, why they have to become a doctor. So you align with our ancient knowledge and give them that. That's what we are doing in our ICA program. So people who are interested, if you have a little kid, in the 13, and above, up to 2022, they can join our course. There's level 1 and level 2. We are training them on the level 1 is a basic research. We will give them, train them, and so that they can present this in a conference, academic conference. And then in the level 2, they will publish this as a paper. So this becomes a very impactful thing for them, and they will never forget. And, that's how, we have Ritisha and all here. Probably these things helped. She did, things, and so she's aligned. She wanted to be here. Otherwise, she would have gone somewhere. So that's the whole thing. She wanted to train students. She knows this is a purposeful education, and she now knows how to take her education forward. In mindfully, and there are mindful education practices. Institutes are open, so that is very important now. World is changing all. Within the next few years, you won't be surprised, there will be so many integrated holistic practices happening in all fields of life, and that's going to come, and this is the right time for all of you parents and kids. I think the doctor is trying to come my voice. Okay. He's coming in and going. So yeah. So anyways, thank you all. Thank you all for your time, and make use of this opportunity. You visit Siddhaveda Multiversity .org. Okay, so you can have information about the program. I can share with you, and if you want to sign up for this program, we are taking students. If you know anybody who is interested, you can share with this information. We are giving that kind of a program for them, so you can. I'm sharing that in the group here. So if you're engaged in this, you will have a conscious education. We all wanted to give this together, because one person or one institute cannot change the world. So we kept our institute in such a way that we can engage other institutes, valuable things. And also, it's not limited to one man's therapy or something, because we can't do that. I have taught so many people, but I cannot change the world. I couldn't even change my own family. So where will I? The whole world is needed by, to change everything. So we need to collaboratively work to make any changes happen. So that's how we have developed this institute, Siddhaveda. So if you interested in our program, you can go register for that. And if you need further details, you can also email to info at Siddhaveda
Dr. Paul,
Multiversity.org.
I would like to give a takeaway message to our audience.
Yes, please.
In conclusion, stress is inevitable, because we are we are not sitting in a forest and meditating. We are in the real world, and we need to face real life situation. Um, but we should know how to navigate in this situation and be happy, using the right tools like psychotherapy, visual imagery, life energy healing, understanding yourself, how to regulate your emotion, and how to maintain your lifestyle. So, and how to manage the energy. When you manage the energy and have harmony, there will be a huge shift in your life. It is not only for yourself, definitely that will your self will be empowered, and also you can empower the community, your children. For parents, it will be the right tool what we offer from Siddhaveda Multiversity. And also we have community based research participation. You can learn and also be a part of our research, as well as, let's work together to ensure that every student feels supported, resilient, and ready to achieve their full potential. Thank you for your attention, and looking forward to answering any questions. I think winding up in future, we would like to meet again. and share more of our experiences. Thank you, Doctor.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Shanuji, you can have I sent you the link. You can just go ahead and register for the students. There's another program. That's the next program. If you look at the next program, if you go to previous page, you should, in the program, there are two programs. So this is the advanced program. There's a lot of programs, in things that we have, uh, you know, um, put forward. There are at least 20 papers, research papers that will be published by the students right now. So you can, we just submitted a couple of papers yesterday, day before, So these are papers that are done by, of course, they are going to very good academic journals, very highly impactful journals. So your kids, anybody interested, they can come and join and spread this word. People don't know this is happening. Now we have a lot of researchers helping us to bring our ancient knowledge into research. So that's what we are doing currently. This is the way we want to engage our kids so that it's useful for their academic and also they can relieve their stress. So that's what we are doing. So at this point, we wanted to conclude and thank you for all your things. Dr. Chokalingam is back, but
Okay, once again,
Dr.
Stan,
Chokalingam, just in one sentence you can finish.
Okay,
Yes.
1 second only. I really appreciate Stan and Pramila. Is the need of the hour. This must reach millions of students because the future were in the students and you are taking care of. My greatest appreciation. Please, all of you, avoid hurry, worry, curry to get buried. We all must exist. We are all connected globally. I appreciate from my heart Dr. Shan and Pramila for the excellent endeavor what you have been doing. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shan.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you.